budget. But Senator Sifuna, for your comfort, the summits are like the Nyota event. I think I've given you your answer. Let us proceed.
Chair, why don't you allow the governor, who is a member of the summit, to answer? You are not, I'm not, Sifuna is not. And Chair, with all due respect, Chair, you need to be careful with Sifuna. You know, he's a blind man on this. He can let you into a pit.
Cherargei.
Chair, you are a good man and you might be a cabinet secretary in the next dispensation. Please, guard your interests very carefully.
I think that is blackmail. But Summit, Nyota, same WhatsApp group. Let's go to irregularities in procurement. So we'll take note of your written responses. The good thing is issues, which I don't think are beyond redemption. Governor, who is your head of procurement? Is he or she in this delegation?
Oh, he's not here.
Why? When there are almost 8 issues that have an implication on the professional competence of that office.
Chief officer can respond because he's the boss to...
Is the chief officer a member of the Institute of Supply Chain Management? Procurement is a regulated profession.
Why the procurement officer is not here?
Why is the procurement officer here? Because you want us to start discussing dates on contracts, variation of dates, notification of awards, things that any competent procurement professional should not allow to happen. We have 2 pages, actually 3 pages, of procurement issues, basic procurement issues. The first thing we would do is indict the head of procurement and ask the professional body to take action. So why isn't the head of procurement here? Because they will say that we indicted them and referred them for disciplinary action without them explaining their story. Governor.
Maybe it's a lesson learned. Next time we'll have to be with them.
Or do you want to take responsibility as a chief executive officer?
No, because most of these things are technical.
We find ourselves abused and misused if these are the things that we are coming to discuss at the summit. That a notification letter was done 2 days before or 2 days after. And Governor, if these things came out during the time of audit, how come they were not closed? How can we close them here at the Senate?
I instructed my team to visit the auditors to close the issues, and most of them I think have been settled.
Auditor, because I'm not going to waste time going through issue number 3.1, 3.11, 3.14, 3.15, 3.16, Was the variation done before the expiry of 12 months as cited by the Auditor General? It's a yes or a no?
Chair, the variation was on the measured quantities, not the total, not the contracts. The variation was on the measured quantities as the works was progressing.
So what are you saying in English?
What I'm saying is that during construction of that particular road, there are those elements of works that are provisional, that are subject to remeasurements once payment is due. So during remeasurements, you'll get that there are quantities which are slightly higher than what is quoted in the bills of quantities, but there are quantities which are lower. So that is what went on, and we have.
So you are arguing that Section 139(3) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act does not apply to those kind of fluctuations?
Chair, my argument is that the Section 139, Part 3, is relating to the contract price.
Auditor General? As we go into this is very important to establish, because as we go into this report, there's a place where you have reported that they did variations up to 1,007%. So can you give us your opinion on what the officer is saying?
Yeah, the officer is right. Variation is on the contract price, but as I indicated earlier, it is important that we keep guard as the officers do implementation of these projects, not to probably overvary certain elements of the projects, because when they are doing the bill of quantities, they are very specific on what the bill, the quantification as per the bills. Then when we get to the ground, as we do verification, we realize that there are certain items which are now probably overbilled or overvaried, and we want to keep money in check to ensure that even as they carry out these projects, they don't vary certain sections or elements of the projects at the detriment probably of other critical.
So your submission is on prudence.
Prudence.
But lawfulness. What they did passes the test.
They're still on course, yes.
Okay.
It passes the test, yes, Coach.
Senator Chimera, your intervention.
No, Chair, I'm just thinking, you know, Section 139(3) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, seemingly there's nothing to vary the contract. Just that it has to happen within the 12 months from the date of signing of the contract. So as to what the OAG is saying,
not within, after.
So it's lawful to do that. But then again, I'm looking at situations whereby a contract is entered into, well executed, and then they could be delays in mobilizing and partially executing that particular contract. Then that means the entity procuring is at liberty then again to vary this outside the scope within which is provided under law. So I don't know, how then do we look at it that way? Is it an issue to do with the law? Because now lawfully and justifiably, the entity being the county government needs to vary it upwards. But then again, the timing is an issue. So perhaps there has to be a conversation around that area, Chair, so that this doesn't really repeatedly becomes an audit query in many issues, yet it is a mischief in the law, Chair. Thank you.
Fine. So,
Chair, my only concern
is this one of the issues that we can attach? Or in your view, this one was done lawfully?
Yeah, what we are trying to say is that you find there are certain projects probably stalling, and the reason is they tend to spend or vary certain elements of the project within implementation at the detriment of the main element of the project. Probably if they were doing a road, now they say maybe they give so much money on a bridge or something, an element of the project. And at the tail end, you realize that the project may not be completed because so much money has been spent in the initial stages on areas which are probably not critical, are not aligned to the bill of quantities. This is what we are trying to keep guard of.
Fine. Let's proceed to Vinuni Tiwi Sokoni Road. Is this complete for 226 million, Governor?
Yes, it's complete and in use.
And in use?
Yes, we've attached photos of the same.
Again, there is a question of variation. Auditor General, do you stand with the observation, or the entity has been able to demonstrate that they were compliant? You again cited section 139(3) of the Act.
Yeah, here there was a real variation.
There was a real variation.
Yes.
Let me read this. Let me read the response.
No, if we read the responses,
Let me give opportunity to the CC
we'll
to
leave this
respond.
room at 6.
Let the CC respond.
Yes, CC?
Chair, the amount in question was 24 million, which amounts to 15%. But that amount was only included in the bills of quantities, but it was not wholly spent as a variation. What happened is that during the implementation of the contract, which was a one-year contract, it was extended by 196 days for reasons of late payment and a lot of relocation works. So the necessity to extend the contract gave reasons to extend preliminaries, which the extended preliminaries gave rise to a need.
Variation, or it was a contract extension? Are those the same things? Is a variation and a contract extension the same thing?
I'm explaining the need for the variation.
You are going too far.
Okay.
Just take the penalty. You don't have to walk back 100 yards. Is a variation and a contract extension the same thing?
Chair, I thought we are not doing audit here. The question is very specific one. Sukari imeanza kwenda chini.
Yeah, so tell us so that we know whether section 139(3) applied to this or not.
Chair, I want to start by stating that this is just a provision that was provided to cater for uncertainties in the future.
Was this money invoiced and paid, the 24 million?
No.
Auditor General?
What was paid, Chair?
Auditor General, this 24 million you have cited, was this a payment or this was just adjustment of the BQs?
Chair, within the 24 million, 368,412 being 15% of quoted measures works, what we are saying is why do you do variation at the stage of that preliminary stage? Yes.
Chair, that is a good observation reading the audit. Then why would you do variation at the early stages? Yet you at the timeline, the contract aspects are still there. Or is it a plan of stealing?
Governor?
Chair, it might look like a plan of stealing, but the actual position is that it is not, because the amount was.
Maybe,
yes.
Do you know the law?
Yes.
The law, there is a process of contract extension and variation. You do it after, or even immediately before the lapse of the period for the value of money. Why would you do an early stage if it is not something mischievous? Or the law in Kwale is different from the law we have in the country?
Through the chair, let me make it clear that we did not do variation at the beginning of the contract. What was there and what the auditor correctly picked is that there is an amount of 24 million, which is 15% of the contract, that was placed there in the unlikely event, or in the likely event that something unforeseeable happens that causes the contract to go beyond 12 months.
No, Governor, we are not doing, I made it very, very clear that we are not doing the audit today. The audit has already been done. The Auditor General has given us a report. Your officer had an opportunity to explain these things to the Auditor General when he was in the county. This is not going to be the forum for doing that kind of conversation. If the Auditor General still maintains his position, we shall proceed recommendations. And our recommendations will not be far from the suspicion that Senator Cherargei is alluding to, that these could be clever ways of looting public resources.
Chair, I can imagine in every contract in this country, not national county, they will be putting money in a likely unforeseeable event. You know, this is like the case of a county that when they appeared here, they told us that the original documents had gone with the water, but they had photocopies. And they're not prepared for the emergency. So my brother, be very careful. If that is a tradition, it should stop. And I wish, Chair, we need to, the head of procurement, even if he's not here in absentia, these are irregularities of procurement. They must be surcharged to the relevant professional body. I
think these are issues of professional negligence, because about 8 issues where perhaps what you would consider to be small issues of procurement, but to the public they're not small. If they keep recurring, then you've got a systemic problem in your procurement function.
And Chair, maybe now my classmate, Governor, because I think in all these procurement processes, there's always a professional opinion. Yeah.
And the professional opinion is done by the head of procurement.
Yes.
So that's the person.
Yes.
If all these things are happening with their professional opinion under their watch, we must go to the section of the law that allows this committee to even recommend that a public officer is not fit to hold public office. Because you can't have 8 issues relating to one docket and reports. So I think, honorable members, we shall craft a recommendation.
Maybe, Chair, as we punish, maybe in these evaluation committees, tender committees, now that the county attorney is there, what is their role in all these processes? They should also be part of the consultation so that they can guide. Do you normally guide them? Maybe under 30 seconds through the chair? Or the head of procurement never consults you?
After this audit, I noticed that the county attorney's office is not involved. So I've given instructions that before any tender is given, it has to pass through the county attorney's office. The documents have to pass through the county attorney's office.
Fine, that will cure the future, but it does not cure the problems in this report. The psychiatry ward, again, regular contract. Irregular means, it's something irregular cannot be cured at the Senate. There are people who accuse the Senate of sanitizing irregularities. If it is irregular, it is irregular. If it was irregular at the time, when it leaves the Senate. So let's start with the value for money. The psychiatry ward, does it exist?
It is complete.
Auditor General, what was a breach in law?
The issue is what documents, minutes, indicated that the winning bidder was awarded a tender at a cost of 17,900,000. There is no evidence that has been abused by management on whether the price was negotiated with the winning bidder or how the price was valued by over million.
Can you explain to us how a 10 million tender came to be 17 million?
The tender was for 17 million, but the project was done in phases. The first phase was 10 million, the second phase was 7.7 million. And when awarding to the contractor, this was communicated. There's evidence that the contractor was informed.
So you disagree with the finding, with the observation
Yes.
of the Auditor General?
Yes.
Auditor General?
Chair, this was has never been brought to our attention. If it is new information, as the governor has responded, maybe they should bring on board the relevant documents in support of that position so that we can review and appraise ourselves.
Remember, there's no other audit. You already did the audit. And there's no other opportunity for document review. So, Governor, whatever you are basing on to support your assertion, files. Where is it?
Unextracted.
Page? Volume and page?
Chimera anajua kabla ya governor. Are you the Senate candidate for the governor?
The chair shall remain blind and deaf.
Yes.
For now. Confidently that you have reviewed these documents, so that page 599, what do you make of it? Because this observation, the way it is, if you are to put it out to the public, it will indicate that this is theft, brazen theft, daylight theft. So, OAG?
Yeah, the contract that was given and was reviewed by our teams during the audit of 2023-2024 was for 10 million. If there is another contract which has been availed or they have amended, then that should we should take time to go and review. And also confirm the scope of works that has been undertaken as a result of that maybe varied works.
Chair, maybe OAG, I can see from 599, notification of award, it says to inform you that the application for the total of 17,918,205.6. This notification of the award. So the contract has 10 million. So what is the relationship between this notification of the award and the contract?
Can be explained by the accounting officer.
Okay, Chair, I can see notification of award says 17 million.
Chair, maybe before that explanation is done, Chair, I just want to understand one thing from the auditor's office. Did you interact with these documents during the audit cycle? The documents that are here as an Excel, especially page 599 and page 600, which is a contract, basically, all the way to 6, I think to 603. Did you have a chance to interact with these documents?
No, Chairman.
Even as you sit today now?
Chair, in line with what Senator Chimera is asking, the reading of this contract says the client hereby agrees to pay the contractor for said work or proposed construction of a psychiatric ward at TV at the sum of 17,918,200 inclusive of VAT. The contractor shall know that the current budget for the project is 10 million, and therefore the payment of contract shall be 10 million shall be paid, 7 million will be paid in 24-25. Is this the same contract you are seeing and what you are seeing?
Chair,
601.
what was availed to us supported 10 million. Whatever they have now given, we only have a chance to scrutinize, look at it and probably appraise ourselves with the same, and also go on the ground and just find out that works, the scope of work that has been undertaken is supported by a contract of 17 million and not 10 million.
So they didn't provide this at the time of audit?
Yes, Chair.
And that's why it found its way in the final certificate. You see, Governor, that is a problem. That the auditor made this observation that is very adverse. This is very adverse. That a contract, the contract sum is 10 million, but through some magic, the evaluation committee has awarded it at 17 million. What that indicates is that maybe 7 million was put in there for the evaluation committee members. That's the analysis that someone can make out of it. And this will be outright theft. This will not just be the head of procurement. These will be the members of the evaluation committee who should be investigated and prosecuted.
Chair,
You are saying that there are some documents that you have brought to the Senate, which is not doing audit. Why didn't you provide these documents to the auditor when they're on the ground?
The information I have is that this document is the one which was provided to the auditors. The document which we have, which I've produced here, is the document which was produced to the auditors.
Okay, Senator Chimera, then we give directions.
Chair, you know, these projects usually they are quantified in nature. There's a value attached on a project, Chair. When you look at the documentation, and I want to speak on records because it's a house of records, Chair. Maybe perhaps and the county government should be faulted on the fact that if at all there was late provision of documents during the audit cycle, then that is wrong. But then again, Chair, looking at the audit query as framed, Chair, any layman basically would want to imagine this is a pure attempt on theft. But then again, the clarity is in this manner, Chair, and I'm not trying to answer the question on their behalf, Chair, but I've read the document, that contract. It says the contract price, Chair, is 17 million. It's there on the contract. And then again, it goes ahead to explain that the budget currently budgeted for is 10 million. And that in the next subsequent budget, I don't know whether that's what the county was trying to communicate, that in the next subsequent budget, Chair, it's going to be a 7 million payment to be done. So if you do 10 and 7, my son, Kendrick, will tell you, and he's 8 years old, will tell you it's 17 million, Chair. So, you know, that again puts facts into perspective. So it's an issue between the Auditor General's office to clarify on the wording of the contracts. If the documents were availed then this should not have found its way as an audit query in this manner, Chair. So I think that's the clarity that, unless the county government has anything else to say, but I believe it's on the budget.
I think we'll leave it at this point, that let the Auditor General check the documents that have been submitted, verify the authenticity, and if they address the query, we shall make the appropriate recommendations. If they do not, then we shall use this as an example to any other member of an ad hoc tender evaluation committee not to play monkey games. So, Auditor, you'll advise us, because we intend to write our report and send to the House in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Before we do our report writing, you'll have done a proper analysis of the documents.
Chair, Leonard and your team, the OAG, maybe the governor, this is better answered by the governor, or both, no, the OAG. You know, Chair, these issues should have not been escalated up to this point. Exit, entry, management, governor, who is the highest ranking officer who normally engages OAG?
Should be the CC. Finance.
So, see, Governor, you have never found time to meet the OAG at any given point? Then I thought these issues are raised before the final certificate is raised, Bwana CC.
Yes, Honorable Member, they are raised before the certificate is issued. Normally, there's a management letter that we respond to. Thereafter,
where is the hub based? Is it in Mombasa? Not B3. I think, Chair, the only comment I can give, yes, northern Kenya, but people say it was nearer from Mandera to Nairobi, but far from Mandera to Garissa. But that's a story for another day. I think my advice to the governor is you should be keen. If these issues through the chair can be resolved at that, we will not be going through such issues. Thank you.
Chair,
Patrick?
please allow me to say that during the audit process, the auditor uses what we call evidence tracking sheet. And in that sheet, they are able to document the information which was asked, who was asking, the number of times it was asked, and when it was delivered. So that evidence is there in the file, Chairman. So,
and indeed, if it contradicts what the governor has stated, for the first time, we'll cite someone for lying under oath. So please go review the documents that were presented to you. If this is not what was presented to you, then someone must take responsibility and must be held to account for perjury. Let's proceed to Kwale Stadium. Governor, Do we have Kwale Stadium? Or it is like the one in Bungoma where there are offices but no playing field?
Kwale Stadium is there.
It's complete?
It's complete.
Was at 178.5 million delivered.
Chair, we can confirm that the stadium is complete and in use, and the amount spent, the people of Kwale are now deriving value for money from the same.
The lawfulness and procedural issues that you cited?
The lawfulness issue, I don't think they have a cure because the issue that we raised here was the contract was signed on 6th February before lapse of mandatory grace period of 14 days. We will have to live with that.
So these are the professional negligence that we've been talking about from the beginning.
Yes.
Fine, we shall
Chair,
deal with
maybe, Governor, maybe this stadium was used during one of the national celebrations. Was this in partnership with the national government, and is there now a canopy? It was there. It is the county office.
Governor, be on record when you're responding.
Canopy is there. There's part which was done by the national government, but we are talking about the part which was done by the county government. The better part of the stadium was done by the county government.
Okay, because when we visited in 2022, largely it had been done.
Okay,
anyway,
members, let's move a bit faster. Fruit processing plant. Governor, is your fruit processing plant working? And what kind of, what's the product out of it?
The fruit processing plant is still under construction. We are now at phase 3. We are doing the fruit processing plant in phases.
Auditor General, what were the irregularities you cited in its construction? Were they procedural, or was there outright theft of public resources?
These were a procedural violation of existing procurement laws.
Again, professional negligence?
Yes, Chair.
So we keep this in view because the project is still going on. Market stalls at Msambweni Hospital. Governor, are these complete?
They are complete.
And traders are in them? They are not like the other one?
Yes, they're in use.
They are traders. It's in use.
Yes, it's in use.
So, Auditor, here was it a value for money question or it was a lawfulness question?
It was
but you can also confirm that they're complete, or you need to go
yes,
back
Chairman.
to
We were there on the 2nd of this month, that is on Monday, and our teams confirmed that they are complete.
Fine. So all these issues we have talked about where the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act have been violated, professional sanctions must be recommended on the head of that function. And of course, where an accusation of loss of funds, investigation and prosecution will also be recommended. Trade revolving fund management system, again, is a violation of the Procurement and Disposal Act. Is it just an issue of lawfulness or there is loss of funds?
Lawful, value for money.
Value for money?
Value for money, Chair.
If it's a value for money question, and perhaps considerate of the time, we shall review the written responses and make appropriate recommendations. Market stalls at Kigato, Governor, are these complete?
They are not yet complete because we have an issue with the Kenya School of Government on the ownership of the land.
Kenya School of Government is a distinct entity such that you would know that this land belongs to KSG, this land belongs to the county government of Kwale.
In between, where we are doing the stalls, there is a dispensary, government dispensary. There's also a VTC. So I don't know why they brought an issue on this one, and yet we have dispensary which has been there for long, and also a VTC which has been there before devolution.
What are the measures you're taking to resolve the dispute?
We have engaged the KSG, we've written to them, and we've had several meetings with the director.
Are there correspondences in the files before?
Yes, yes, yes.
On which page?
Annexure 15.
Because that's a concern of the Auditor General. There was no evidence that the county made efforts to revive and complete the project. Annex 15 is volume 3 or volume 2? Page? You have done well to paginate, so it's easy just to tell us the page. Where is it? Starts from here. Yes. Going this way or going this way? This way. But that's budget estimates.
Page 752. Page 752.
So just describe what is on page 752.
The letter to the Director General, Professor.
What is the substance? Just summarize the substance.
It was just to allow to ask for KSG to allow county government to proceed with construction.
So you acknowledge that the land belongs to KSG?
Yeah, the land belongs to KSG.
So nani mchokozi?
Because they allowed us to do dispensary and VTC. And through public participation, community requested that we do stalls so that those patients who come to the dispensary and also those who go to the VTC, they can get some commodities from there.
Governor, that's very kienyeji. You infringe, you trespass on my property once, I keep quiet. You do it twice, I keep quiet. Then you expect the third time I should be quiet because I didn't raise an issue in the first two instances.
We assumed it's government land, they will not have issues.
You head the county government of Kwale. You don't head the national government of Kenya.
True.
I think we don't need to be too casual about these things. You've got a county attorney. County attorney, is this the kind of advice you have been rendering to a governor who is also a member of your profession? Because if the governor was a Kaya elder, we would doubt her legal judgment.
Thank you, Chair. If I may respond, I think it's important to give the geographical location of where the schools were proposed.
There is nothing more useful you are going to say with that approach. The governor has confirmed, and this letter, the way it is written, you are seeking the permission of KSG to use their land. It is your responsibility to provide proper advice before execution of projects.
I'm well guided, Chair.
Yeah, because otherwise we will also be reporting you to the Law Society of Kenya.
I'm well guided, Chair.
Fine. So we keep this in view and encourage the governor to use proper legal means to ensure that projects do not stall due to lack of ownership of land. Construction of market stalls at Msambweni Hospital, is this the same thing that we are dealt with?
Yes.
Electrification of market stalls, 7.9 million had been spent for electrification of market stalls in Pongwe, Kikoneni, Samburu, Chengoni, Kinango, Puma, and Wang Ombeni wards. On 5th of May 2023. Governor, why would this be pending for that long?
I think the first contract was terminated. It has been given to another contractor who is on site. So the works are on progress.
But the contractor had already been paid 7.9 million. So what was delivered for 7.9 million?
The contract sum was 7 million. 7.9 million.
Auditor General, you are saying the contractor was not on site after being paid an amount of 7.955 million.
No, he was paid 4.6.
So, Auditor, you are the professional who went on the ground. I will trust you more. How much was the contractor paid?
The contractor, as at October 2025, the contractor was not on site after being paid an amount of 7,955,379.
And you're basing that on a payment voucher or actual transfer to the contractor? On an invoice or a payment?
Several documents, Chairman.
Several documents. Yeah. Governor, your figures cannot be different.
We have attached payment vouchers, payment certificates and vouchers.
No, Governor, that's not useful because you want us to audit now. The audit was already done. The auditor reported that 7.9 million had been paid. It was your duty to challenge that in the management letter.
The CC in charge is here.
And it was a duty of the CC in charge to do that at the management letter, not at the Senate. CC, how much was paid?
Thank you, Chair. The amount that was paid is 4,682,604.
How do we trust your narration? Is there any evidence in the file?
Chair, we have attached the certificates.
Auditor General, have you looked at what they have attached? And is that what was presented to you at the time of audit?
Chair, what we have, we verified various documents. We went through the contract document, we went through payment vouchers, we went through what went through the system, the ledgers, and our figure that was picked at that particular time was 7,955,379. If they had a contrary view, Chair, audit is a process.
Correct.
Management letter level, draft audit report level, and even before we issue the final audit certificate, they still have a grace period to come and clarify.
The numbers cannot change from Kwale to Nairobi. 7.9 cannot become 4.6 when it reaches Nairobi. So can you, Governor, you must direct your officers to cooperate with the Office of the Auditor General so that we know exactly what was paid, because we are going to make